everybody, I'm Justin Amador with Winginit Fab, and I just wanted to take a second to introduce who I am. Just a fabricator. I've been doing CNC machining work and welding for the past 20 plus years. We do contract work, a lot of government work, some aviation, some oil and natural gas and things like that. But my real passion is building stupid stuff, building fun stuff like hot rods. And so we started doing our YouTube channel with this piece right here. And what we got going here is a 1981 Ford 300 block. This came out of a Ford F-150 that I bought off a buddy of mine for like a few $100. It was a running truck. It had just been sitting out in the pasture forever. So we took it, we brought it in, we tore it all down and got down just to the basic block. Then I had another buddy who donated a set of 862 heads, just like what you see right there. These are 862 LS heads, nothing fancy about them, nothing major. A buddy of mine drag races them, and he had an extra set of heads, so he donated them to the project. So we've got kind of who we are, what we're building, and the reason why we're building it is just for fun. I don't care. Just going. This is going to go into 31 hot rod. Little rat rod truck project that we've built the frame and everything on. We'll do some videos on it too, but man, everybody's building rat rods and you can find 10,000 videos of this. This is basically just going to be machine work, welding work, you know, some fab stuff and some things that you can see as to what we're doing and how we do it and why we do it. I'm definitely not perfect. I may not do it your way. There's 10,000 ways to skin a cat, and we're just going to do it my way. So let's get started on this thing. The first thing is we'll start with our valve cover here. So I just started with a valve cover, and I'm going to work our way down. This is a cheapo valve cover. I just took it and split it. You can see I split it and I welded it right there. It's got a little bit of rock to it because it warped on each side. I clamped this thing down on my welding table, ran my heat as cool as I could. It warped and warped and warped. Honestly, this has been the biggest pain in the butt ever. But there it is. We're going to go down, take off about 60 thousandths off that center, and we'll get it sitting parallel here. Now that guy's gone, we can get down to our heads. And I'm going to rotate this guy. Actually, let's back up, and let's rotate this guy and show you. This is our magneto that we're going to be running. So this from about here down is actually Ford distributor that we just took a cheapo, cut it off right up here, and then we machined this piece here that will attach this mag here. And this is out of a Continental 0600 aviation engine, which would be like in a Beechcraft Bonanza. Really a high fire magneto, and we wanted to run a magneto on this just because it can, and it looks weird, and it's from an airplane engine, so what's cooler than that? So here's our magneto. We'll go into some more detail of what we did on this in another video, but just wanted to give you a rundown of what's going on for Spark. Here it is. Next, I'll pull this back and let me rotate this head a little bit, or rotate this around where you can see what's going on. So if we rotate our head around here, you can see our valve cover pieces that are in there. I'm actually holding this head on, and I will pin it right here. So now that you can see our valve cover, and we've got our valve cover going in, drop a bolt in this so I don't drop it. All right, first thing, I'm not a camera guy, I'm not a video guy, so you're getting kind of, what you see is what you get. I hope it's not too bad, and people aren't too terribly complaining about that. But anyway, here we go. Here's our rockers. Just using some roller rockers. Same buddy that hooked me up with the heads hooked me up with these rockers. So we've got our rockers just setting in, just so we can kind of have some motivation to keep going on this project. But now you can see, here is where we split the heads, right here. We split these heads here to give us a section of 3 and a section of 3. And I'll show you the bore spacing in a little bit. We're within easily 30 thousandths. of our bore spacing, so we don't have to worry too much about that. Really what I wanted to showcase right here was where we split it, where we seamed it. Ooh, dude's head. So you can see another split seam right there. This intake runner is just a cheapo off of eBay, I think. I didn't want to reinvent this wheel, so I just ordered it. It was like 80, 90 bucks. I didn't want to machine all that. We've got some other pieces that we're going to machine going on our intake as well. But you can see our head, you can see our intake pieces. Let me pull this head off of here and I'll show you kind of what's up, what's going on here. So with our head, there's our bottom side. What we did is we went in, split it here. We actually cut this about 1/4 of an inch too short. I just screwed up, to be honest with you. Get it here where it's set flat. So I screwed up. And what I did is when I screwed up, I cut it 1/4 of an inch too short, but it worked out perfectly because I had to put a piece of plate in there. We cut a piece of plate, made it match our water chambers, and put that piece of plate here and here, and then we welded. We had a nice good solid piece of stock to weld to on each side of the heads. After we welded the heads down, we went through and decked our head back on the top side, or on the head side. Went ahead and decked our head for the intake side as well. You can see intake's bolted up there. You can see, I don't know if you can see that or not, there's a big old fat ugly weld in there. That sucked to weld. Easy places to get to were nice too, but down in the valleys, it was hard to get my TIG torch in there. Coolant wise, we went ahead and welded in this coolant adapter for like just a small block Chevy thermostat, and we'll put an adjustable housing on there. You can see our exhaust side here. See a small little weld right there, small little weld right there, but we decked that guy back down, and that's the end of our head. Also what we did to our head is our head bolts. So what we did, the original head bolts, bolt holes, pardon me, the original bolt holes that were in there, we went in and slugged them. So we cut a piece of 6061 aluminum, pressed it inside those holes, got a good real probably 2/1000 press in all of those to allow for some heat in there. Then we went in and welded up the top sides of them and re-drilled so that this guy would match our cylinder block. So for our head gasket, I'm going to go ahead and just rotate this over to where you can see. So our head gasket sits just like you see here. We went ahead and cut this head gasket out of a piece of brass. We've got our push rod clearance pieces here. We've got our head bolts lined up in between there, and this is our main coolant jackets. So this guy will set and block up all of these coolant passages except for our main coolant passages back here. These are just coming around, and if you look at an original head gasket, you can see those guys are covered up. So with our head gasket done, we've got our head gasket here, and still have some plastic on the back side of it so we don't tear this thing up. But we have our head gasket there, main coolant jacket going into here. This head gasket will cover up these cooling jackets, I apologize, these cooling jackets, and our water will still be able to run inside there, I hope. I don't know, I'm guesstimating at this shit. With that being said, we'll go to push rod covers. So, push rod covers, right here. We had to make this piece here. We also made it to where it intersected with the top of our block here. Give me just a second and I'll unbolt this guy. Should have had this done to begin with, but who cares? You guys ain't doing nothing else anyway. I just dropped it. Okay, so this is our push rod cover. We recessed right in here so our mag would sit down inside there nice and pretty. What we also did is we came in and I dropped a whole bunch of bolts. And it's hard to see, and I'll get some better videos of this, but we recessed a little slot right on top of there. And that little slot intersects with this slot that we put on our head right here. So that will intersect and basically sit on top of there and create a nice flush flat head on there. Head gasket should seal all of this from water and oil. That's the goal. Once it's done, we shouldn't need to be pulling this guy back off very much. The old push rod cover, I don't need to mess with it. I don't need to get in and adjust push rods or anything like that. We've got hydraulic lifters. So far, everything looks to be going pretty well. Now that you see our head on here, you can see how much of an overhang is actually on that head. Lining up should be just about right down through there. Should be able to drop in and see a bolt hole and get us pretty dang close. But you can see all of our overhang that is right now here. Now with the push rod tube cover installed, you can see where we filled that void and how we filled that void. I wanted this to intersect right in here. That's why I created this lip and the lip also that's on the block itself. And I wanted this guy to sit around and mate up here. We don't only have to make it run, but we got to make it look nice too.
Introducing hood lights, crafted for welders, embraced by everyone. The ultimate mountable lighting system to light up your work and illuminate the way forward. Order today at hoodlightsusa.com.